Hey everyone, so episode 2. I'm a little late posting. Been a very busy week, which is fantastic. Had a had an offer finally firm up, and so a house sold and a few clients on the go. So everything's just been kind of coming full throttle. It's been awesome. But anyways, what I wanted to cover today, and I've been seeing this a lot in the market and dealing with people, is client expectations. So if you are a seller or you're a buyer, I think one thing that you need to come to terms with prior to either listing your home or getting out there and buying one is what to expect. Now, we all know that, the market a couple years ago is far different than what the market is today. So if you were a seller 2 years ago, you can pretty much guess that you're going to put your house on the market and you're going to get, more than you put it up for. It's going to go over ask. And if you are a buyer, you're going to pay more than ask. So I think where we're at right now, as far as buying and selling, is we're at a crossroads with people who are expecting too much or too little. If you have, as a seller, decide, okay, I want to sell, I want to get X amount for it. A good realtor is going to come to you with comps of the neighborhood and realistic expectations before listing it. And if you, the seller, say, listen, I want to get at least 800 for it, and comps around the neighborhood are, 700, 750, that 800 is not going to happen. And if you have a realtor that says, yeah, no problem, I can 100% get you that, run. Go find another one that's realistic. Because me as a realtor and my partner and I, we are not going to put forth a number that we know we can't achieve just to get that listing, because then it makes us look bad and it just sets you up for disappointment. So, this is my advice to you. If you are somebody that wants to sell, there is, a lot of stuff you can look at and you can kind of gauge the market. But before you list, come up with a number that you are comfortable to accept. If that number far exceeds, what's possible on in your neighborhood or on your street, maybe it's not the right time to sell. And I know it sucks. I know we all wish we could go back to 2020. Me as a realtor, I do too. You're not putting in that much work back then as a realtor, and right now you're grinding. But I love it. So I just think that you as a seller need to be realistic and come to terms with, okay, this is what we're going to list for. It's unlikely we're going to get this number, but this is what I'm comfortable to accept. Because if you can have that open conversation with your realtor, you guys can both come to, a set price on what the bottom line is. So then you can work towards that. And if you are a buyer, again, it is a buyer's market. However, instead of just running into the market, looking at a house and saying, it's buyer's market, I'm going to put 100K less, and then shocked when your offer gets declined. Again, realistic. Yes, it is a buyer's market. However, you need to be realistic and fair on your offer and your price. If you go look at a house that's been on the market for a week and it's listed at 749,000, and you say, nah, okay, 749, been on for a few days, I'm going to go in at 700. Those people come back and say, no, we're good. You're going to be like, well, what do you mean you're good? Like, everybody's getting this under ass. It hasn't been on the market that long. Maybe the people that are selling are not in that major of a rush. We just had clients that weren't in a huge rush to sell, and they had already bought without, having to sell their home. So, they could haggle, they could wait. And I think that's where we're sitting. I mean, if you see a house that's been on the market for 100 days, take a shot. But with that being said, it might not go your way either, because I have no problem admitting we also had clients where we went in 100K under ask, and basically they came back to us and said, are you crazy? And it ended up selling for like 30K under ask. So like we ended up getting it. However, you have an expectation, you think this is what's going to happen. Everything can change really quickly. So, the market seems to be dropping day by day. I keep hearing everybody say it's going to crash, it's going to do this, it's going to do that. We can quote, we can estimate what's going to happen, but we don't really know. So, if you're a seller or you're a buyer, get your head in the game before you actually start that process and be realistic on what's going to happen. because it just saves a lot of heartache. It saves the realtor a lot of heartache as well, because my partner and I, we are not going to tell you, we're going to get this for you 100%. 100% is not something you want to say in this market to clients at all. It can swing any way whatsoever. I mean, the market isn't the way it was a month ago. So maybe that house would have sold for 700 a month ago, but now it's going for 680. And it sucks. It really does, especially for sellers, right? Especially for a seller who bought in 2020 and now they're selling. Myself included. I mean, I got my house at a good price in 2020 and I flipped pretty much the entire thing. But if I put it on the market today, it's unlikely I'm even going to get what I paid for it. And, it's hard to swallow, but that's just what it is. And that's just what you have to accept. So moving forward, that's pretty much it for this episode. And, I just wanted to kind of touch base and say, be realistic with stuff. I mean, again, it really sucks. Like, everybody wishes they could get X amount for their house, or they could buy for, buy low, sell high. That's the main thing. But sometimes stuff just doesn't go the way you think it's going to go. So, just think thoroughly, think realistically. Anyways, all my info is below. If you want to get in contact, kind of talk market, if you're interested in buying, selling, my partner and I are happy to sit down with you and go over that. And hope to hear from you. And I will see you next week. Have a good week.